everyone, I'm Rupam Singh. I'm a AWO volunteer, and today we're gonna join us by Deepika Lohan ma'am. She's a counseling psychologist, and if you have any questions you wanna ask her, you can ask us in the comment section below. So I'm gonna add Deepika Lohan ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good, ma'am. So, how was your lockdown going?
Oh, it is a difficult question for everyone because everybody is having this fear of uncertainty. Nobody knows when it will open. So I'm trying my best. I'm doing things which I like. After a lot of time, I've got time to stay with my family. So I'm making the best.
Ma'am, let me introduce you once again. Hello, everyone. We have Deepika Lohan, ma'am, with us. She's a psychologist. If you have any questions with her, you can ask us in the comment section. We'll discuss it later. So, ma'am, you want to start the conversation? You said you prepare something for the starting.
We can have this discussion. We can start with the questions.
Okay, so my first question is, what would you like to tell all parents about building a better bond with the children, and how can we make children comfortable?
Okay, so we are talking about parenting now. Parenting is the most fulfilling job. It is full of challenges. Though we are not parents till now, but still our parents, they have all time this work that they have to give their best at it. So a strong relationship between a parent and child is must. A secure relationship will lead to good outcomes. If relationship between a parent and child is strong enough, it is more likely that the child will be able to handle stress in a positive way. The person will be better able to regulate their emotions. And when we talk about attachment styles, every person, we all have different type of bonds with other people. With friends, we have a comfort zone. For some, their parents are strict, and for some, their parents are frank. So it is every person resources, but we need to understand what sort of bond we share. Somewhere the catharsis that says we need to vent out. Sometimes we're not able to vent out to our parents. We have this fear that what will they think about us. So that ventilation goes to our friend circle. We try to share everything with our friend circle. But important that parents should be very open with their children because children they have their own issues when they enter puberty. They have a lot of biological changes. Their secondary characteristics are developed, and when they've become adult, they have another sort of problems. That is, they want to establish themselves. They're finding for identity resolution. They want to make an identity in the world. And when we talk about children, the small children, they are not even, when their language has not also been developed, but they develop their bond with their mothers. The bond is full of unconditional love, right? So I have
Yes,
some
ma'am.
tips. I have tips for parents. So we need to have, we need to treat every occasion or every interaction as an opportunity to connect with the children. Not always we are able to talk heart to heart with everybody, right? We always
Yes,
have
ma'am.
this special moments with everybody. Let it be friends or let it be family. So it's important that you share the expectations of the children and of the parent. It's both ways is very crucial because sometimes parents, I would like to give you an example. Suppose a parent wanted to become an IS, and if by chance he did not become, so he thinks that my son or my daughter will become IS. In that
Yeah.
way, that the child has pressure. It has an external pressure. Because maybe the child want to take up photography or want to go in fashion modeling. Here,
Yeah.
the person has to step up. So it is very important that the parents should be on the same pages. It is important so that the parent knows the expectation and the child clearly tells the parent what sort of wishes they want to have, what sort of goals do they want to pursue in their life. And then,
Yeah.
along with encouraging interaction, I would encouraging having meals together every day. As it's a previous statement that a family that with meals together stays together. So it's important
Yeah.
to have food or to have good, precious quality time with your children. And giving reassurance is important. The newspaper is being flooded of cases where the children suicide because the parents have high expectations. They think that they're not able to fulfill their expectations. There are cases when the people or children they're not able to share it with their parents. What their parents. So,
Yeah.
an open communication is must.
I think, ma'am, your video got paused. Um, Ma'am, your video got.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then we'll come to role modeling now. A famous psychologist, Albert Bandura, he gave this theory of social learning that children they learn from their elders. They learn by imitation and learning from watching the behavior of others. Half of what we do, we've learned it from. So parents act as role models. What our parents say, or we believe them, we believe what the parents say, and we accept it. So following your parents, having communication, and making boundaries and rules is important. It is very clear. Sometimes these days, students they do not know what the parents expect of them. So a clear boundary is important. Creating rules in the family. A clear written rules can be so that the children also know that what are the limits and what are the rules.
So, ma'am, basically, rules and regulations of the family is important, and having a meal can create a better bond with the parents and children. So, my next question is, what are some signs of trauma in a child that parents should look out for?
Okay, so we're talking about trauma. Trauma is something when a child, or it can happen with an adult also, when the child faces something big, if it's an accident or if it's an abuse. So we'll categorize this in behavioral categories and cognitive categories. What are the behavioral signs and what are the category cognition signs? So behavioral categories can be easily seen because a loss of sleep, loss of appetite, it is clearly visible to the children and to the parents as well. The children who have gone through trauma, they complain of somatic pains. Somatic pains are the pains which are not diagnosed in the tests that which doctors take. So these sort of pains are pain which the children has it when they take rest. So somatic pain and then feeling of helplessness. They believe that they are helpless. They do not have other people to help. They believe that it's their own world and they have been stuck to this trauma and they cannot come out of it. So in this case, this leads to a vicious cycle in which they find it difficult to come out of it.
Okay, ma'am.
So we talk about cognitive deficits. Cognitive deficits are that people who have subjected to abuse, whether it is physical abuse or emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is also called psychological abuse, or whether it's sexual abuse. It has been seen that they are slow learners. They have this cognitive deficits. They are not able to learn as fast as compared to others. Their attention has got distorted. And then they have excessive of irritation. They have problem in processing the information. They are lost in their daydreaming, or the major thing is they may get flashbacks. They may get flashbacks of the trauma, often the nightmares.
So, ma'am, how?
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
They have attention deficits along with there is lack of sustained curiosity. we all are curious. Being a child, it is a characteristic that we all are curious. But such child, they lose this ability. They do not show curious behavior.
Okay. So, ma'am, how can we help a child to get rid of flashbacks? I mean, as a parent, as a friend, as a relative, how can we help a child?
Okay. So this is called PTSD. In which the child faces rapid flashbacks. Here you can consult a psychotherapist, a mental health counselor, so that the person will help you in changing your cognitions. The person will help you to deal with the trauma in an effective way. How will the therapist help you? They'll give you support therapy, that you are not alone, and that this happens, which has happened with you. You have people within to help you. You have legal implications, you have therapies, you have your school, your friend circle. That is another thing. You take catharsis is important. Ventilation of your emotions is important. There are times when everybody feels, but use energy in a positive way should be the solution.
Okay, ma'am. So you should use your energy as a positive way so you can deal with your trauma and your flashbacks. Okay, so my next question is how abuse affects survivor as an adult?
Okay, so as an adult, see, everything is linked to early experiences. As we all know that a child's brain when it is born is a blank slate. Nothing is there. But with experiences, we all become adults. Somebody has pity or traumatic experiences. Some people have positive and good family, healthy life. So early experiences play an important role in one's life. The reason why is because that's the time when our brain is growing. The neural signals popping. Unlimited. Our body has an unlimited energy. So I would like to explain you, being a psychologist, our brain has this tendency, this evolutionary tendency, that it will act in a survival mode when it feels that it has an anxiety. It is an instinct to have a survival value, survival adaptive trait, that anything which is a threat to us, we feel anxious and we become pro to it, that we try our best to boost our mental health and physical health. We try to save it. But at that time, the brain has to develop, so it has to focus on learning. The children has to learn all the language development has to take place at that time. If a person has a trauma at that stage, the brain will not be able to focus on learning new things and developing all the cognitions. The brain will be activated in the stress response. In that stress response, the brain will focus only on the survival value. So do you understand why trauma experience they will have when they become adults? Because at that time, the learning, the problem solving is not developed to an appropriate level. That is where
if they don't deal with it properly, they become impulsive, right?
Yes. A person who has been traumatized is more likely to become impulsive when they grow up. They may not able to act appropriately in stress. They may have problem in emotional regulation.
And then there is background noise, I guess. Okay, let's move on to next question. My next question is, how are you taking care of your mental health during lockdown?
Okay, if it's a personal question, I would like to say that I'm doing things which I've never done before. That is, personally, I've been living in hostel, so this is the longest time I've been staying at home. So I'm talking to my parents, grandparents talking to them about cultural beliefs and previous experiences. That's the best way. And trying my hat at different things like cooking, also gardening. These mini goals give you, a sense of right?
It also bring positivity.
Yes, it brings a sense of,
Okay, so I have one more personal question for you.
you did not lie down on your bed. You did something, whether it was cooking or gardening or reading a book. It has been seen that if you read a book for 15 minutes also, whether it's a fiction or a non-fiction, if it's an other than your course also, it helps you, it motivates you. Why? Because the evolutionary instinct of our brain is to read something new. The neurons, they get activated when they get something new. So reading every day, even if it's for 15 minutes, is beneficial for you.
Okay, it boosts your energy to read something new every day.
And then
Okay, someone.
making short goals is important. Every day before going to
Okay.
bed, one should have that what the person will do the next day. In that case, you get up more motivated and more, full of optimal energy that I have to do this thing today. So preparing beforehand for your day is important, I would suggest.
Okay, so everyone can make a short goal for themselves daily and read something for 15 minutes at least so you can be motivated and boost your energy. So I go through your prepare for questions and I find out that you love traveling. So my question is, what is your favorite travel destination?
My favorite destination. Of course, I like traveling. And recently I've been to Kolkata. I really liked the place. It was full of love and full of energy. People are so much into education there. I could see people were not even wasting time on airport. I could see people with books. They were using the best of their time.
Oh, ma'am, I think you.
It's
Okay. So, ma'am, you want to add anything in the end?
I would like to say that we all are going time of crisis. We all are having this fear of uncertainty and fear of, we all are worried that what will be the outcome. Whose examinations have been postponed. There are people who had to take admissions. So everybody is at a loss, whether it is in loss of effort, whether it's in loss of money or loss of time. So we need to accept this. We need to act emotionally in a strong sense. We need to have faith that this. We have to stay safe and we have to make the best use of the time. We do not have to think that when will it open, we'll only study when it will open. This is the best time. If you want to, it's on you. How do you interpret it? If you believe that it is a challenge for you, that you do, if you want to clear for some, if you want to prepare for some competitive exam, or if you want to try on to learn some new skill, if you want to learn cooking or any other thing. So it is on the person how they are interpreting it, whether it is a challenge or it is, for some it can be a rest phase. People who have been working all their lives, they may take a rest period. It is not compulsory that everybody has to do something productive only. So to each his own. Everybody has their own cycles. Everybody has their own timelines. So I would suggest that stay safe, make use of your time, stay positive. Having anxious thoughts is normal. We all are going through the same phase. So we need to think in a positive line. We need to become resilient. We need to bounce back. And a thought, or I would suggest everybody to read 15 minutes per day. That's my only suggestion, because that will, if not, it will add on to your memory bank. Somewhere it will help you. So reading for 15 minutes will give you a sense of achievement, if not something else. Because I've got complaints from we're lying down on the bed throughout the day, watching Netflix, watching binge watching. It is so dangerous. Now we understand that it is so fun loving that we watch the whole series in a one go, but it is going to have a harmful impact on ourselves. We're not getting it, but apart from biological impact, it may impact our psychological well-being also, because continuously we are being in the flow of watching the series.
So now we talk about anxious thought. So can you suggest anything to overcome our anxious thought as we are in the lockdown and we can't go out? So any exercise you want to recommend us, recommend
That's
everyone?
Yes, true. That's a really good question. I would say practice, do yoga and meditation. Anybody can do yoga. It is not something that you need equipments to learn yoga. You can watch
Yes, ma'am.
YouTube. Yes, you can watch YouTube videos like doing of Surya Namaskar. In your own house, you can do some walking. And then apart from asanas, you can practice meditation. I would like to give you a simple trick. It's called the fastest way to stimulate your brain. This is to breathe in for 4 seconds. On a count of 4, you breathe in from your nose, and then you stop it for 5 seconds, so that the oxygen, biologically the oxygen gets into your brain. Till then you stop it for 5 seconds, and then you exhale through your mouth. You do not have to exhale through your nose. It will be more beneficial if you exhale through your mouth. That would be the best way. So breathe
Okay,
in.
ma'am.
This is called a 4-7-8 technique. For 4 seconds you breathe in, and then you reach, and then you can exhale. That way you can get emotionally, and your brain can get aroused. In that way you can focus yourself on some task before doing some task, or every day for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then you can do the meditation by using the word Om. It is the universal powerful word. The word Om has lot of energy in it, so it will give you fully, it will rejuvenate your brain.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, we have few questions. Then someone asked that what about jogging? Does jogging also cancel your anxious thoughts?
Okay. Like you asked me that we all are stuck down in lockdown. So there are places
Jogging
like
is much
people who are staying in flats, or for them it is not possible to have
possible.
to do jogging. So that is why the different part can be done was meditation.
Yoga and
Because that will-
meditation.
yes, your brain will be more stimulated and will be calm and composed. I would like to talk about a research. It was done with basketball players recently. It was
Okay.
found there were 3 categories. One category was fully, it was given that they will be practicing for whole 1 month. They'll go to the basketball court and they'll be practicing the basketball skills. There was another group that was not able to go to the field, but they had to practice it in their brain, that how they will be playing, how they will be putting the basket. For that 1 hour, they will not be going to the field, but they will be applying the techniques in their mind. That's called power of visualization. They'll be visualizing how they will play in the tournament. And then there was the third group which did not go to the field, they did not even do the visualization. So that was the control group. They were made play some other games, or they were made enjoy they were made apart from basketball.
The basketball.
Yes. So the research said that people who every day went to the practice improved 24%. And can you believe people who did not even go to school but practiced in their mind improved 23%. So it is the 1%.
Visualizing.
Yes, and people who completely did not even go to field and did not do visualization, they did not perform better. So I would like to tell you that going to practice is good, but it is our mind playing. So in the power of visualization, our mind was playing the same things, only our physical muscles were not playing.
So visualization is really important now these days because we can't go out. So it will help to boost up.
Yes, you can think about positive things, that what are your goals are. You can visualize that your goals are becoming true. That way you're more likely to attract those things. That's called law of attraction. You will attract what you want.
Okay, ma'am. So someone is Ashutosh is saying thank you, Agua and Deepika ma'am, for this nice session. Ma'am, everyone is saying thank you. And in the last, I would like to say thank you, ma'am, so much for joining us. And I hope we see lots of collaboration. It was a nice conversation, and I hope everyone get insight of it. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank Arwa for doing such a wonderful work, because there are children, surplus of children who have been subject to abuse, whether it's physical abuse or psychological abuse. In many of the cases, they are struggling. So, being from a mental health profession, I would like to say that I would like to appreciate your efforts. You're doing really well.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Be safe, ma'am.
You too, stay safe, everybody. I would say stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope this session was insightful for you and you learned lots of things. If you know more about Agua, you can check our Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channel also. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos related to the issue. Thank you so much. Be safe.